the team. Don't know what the you laughing at. Let's go.
I used to laugh at you, Justin. Now everyone's laughing at me. I thought playing with house money would make the pain of blowing a playoff clinching game hurt less, but it doesn't. It still hurts. My expectations for the team have been raised, and now I'm entering levels of pain I forgot I could feel. Being up 21-10, only to lose 34-27 to a division rival.
And just throw it up in the air, and by the time it comes down, the Chargers have the victory.
Two former Oregon Duck quarterbacks battled for the second time this season. We got the kind of duck-on-duck action we haven't seen since Howard the Duck. And Bo Nix, just like Howard the Duck, fell from grace. There's a reference 8 fucking people will get. This loss was so bad, Bo Nix is losing old friends.
You become quicker friends with your quarterback Baker than you did with Bo Nix? People are asking, you still FaceTime him, so we're just curious.
I did come pretty close with Baker.
God, Baker Mayfield's so cool. I blame myself for putting the cart ahead of the horse, especially when I know the horse behind that cart is a young, overperforming team who hasn't beat anyone of substance. I titled this episode preemptively, The Biggest Win the Broncos Have Had Since 2015. Instead, the horse with the cart ahead of it mounted that cart like a stud does and smashed it into a million little pieces with its strong, raging horse member while the bolts simply jogged past in the new. Oh, whatever. Today's episode is sponsored by Element. Element is a zero-sugar electrolyte drink mix and sparkling water aimed at helping you stay hydrated and hitting optimal sodium levels. Each pack has a perfect dose of electrolytes free of sugar, artificial flavors, and general BS. I rip one of these open and pop them into my water bottle to drink while I work out or after a night of having some adult beverages. I also started mixing these with my green vitamin drinks. They make that stuff taste so much more drinkable. And if you want to dabble with their salty warm mixes, chocolate, mint, chai, and raspberry, the winter is the time to do it. But I will die on the hill that the chili mango flavor is the best flavor. I asked Element to send me extra because I drink so much of these. They looked at me and said, "You might be the most hydrated person we have ever seen." And I said, "Thank you. Now give me my chili mango." You can get your free Element sample pack with any purchase with my link and only through my link below, drinkelement.com/TGS. Again, you only get the free sample pack with my link, and that's for new or current customers. You can try Element risk-free, and if you don't like it, they will refund your order, no questions asked. I don't just do the ads for Element, I'm drinking it right now. Oh God, yeah. Oh God, yeah, chili mango, you are the best. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. 676,000 of you lunatics have already done it. We're on pace to hit 700,000 by the end of the season. Please don't let my season end before the playoffs. The Broncos had everything in front of them. They were up 21-10 in this game, needing just a win to secure a spot in the playoffs for the first time since 2015. As a Broncos fan, I couldn't have asked for a better start to this game. Pure joy in the first half I was experiencing. Denver actually ran the ball incredibly well. Audric Estime was pounding it, averaging over 5 yards per tote. Javonte Williams pounding it, and Estime scored his first NFL touchdown. Ooh la la. Denver made a statement drive to start the game. Unfortunately, the Chargers matched by also running the ball surprisingly well, something they haven't done since J.K. Dobbins went down with injury. The Broncos went on to score 2 more touchdowns to the Chargers' 1 field goal. All 3 of Denver's touchdown drives were right around 70 yards, a great mix of run and pass. Sean Payton was listening to his one giant note he had written on his play sheet: run the ball. We looked like a playoff team who was ready for the dance. We put on our lipstick and pretty dresses just so we could get fucked. Sorry. Bo Nix had 2 touchdowns and 155 passing yards. The defense was tightening its belt, just like it does every week. After taking its second quarter Ozempic, I was getting way too relaxed, smiling, thinking about how playing the Bengals in a week wouldn't even matter. Denver had 3 rookies making big plays in the first half. Devon Vele caught his second touchdown of the season, and corner Chris Abrams picked off Justin Herbert. But that led Denver right into the worm's nest. Jim Harbaugh, of course, has a phrase.
The worm has turned.
A phrase nobody ever fucking says, which happens to just mean a situation can change suddenly and someone who has been weak or unlucky, the Chargers, can become lucky and strong. Sean Payton, by the way, has 0 quirky or fun sayings, and if he wants to save this team, he needs at least 10. Which would give him 1/100th of the crazy shit Harbaugh has in his mental Rolodex. Here's a couple for you to try out, Sean. There is no cow on the ice. Probably means there's only skinny people ice skating. God gives nuts to the man with no teeth. Gross. God's into gum jobs? And live like a maggot in bacon. If those phrases don't make you a better coach, Sean, nothing will. The moment everything changed, though, occurred when the Chargers perfectly executed a play that hasn't happened since 1976. Yeah, the dumb fair catch kick rule. Denver spent the next half dumbfounded, forgetting a football game was taking place as they tried to wrap their brains around what the fuck this play is and why it hurt them. And I condemn anyone who uses it against me.
It's my favorite rule in football.
That makes you and me mortal enemies, Jimbo. I have a video explaining what this dumb rule is in depth. I already posted that stupid thing. But to summarize, apparently, anytime a player makes a fair catch, the receiving team can opt for a kick from the spot of the catch. If it happens with no time on the clock, you can extend the half or game by 1 play to try the kick. You never see this happen because fair catches almost never happen in field goal range, but Denver was dinged for a fair catch interference penalty. Traymon Smith made a little contact with Darius Davis, drawing a penalty, which is a massive 15-yarder, which put the Chargers in Dicker's range. As a small man, I hate to see a dicker that can go that deep so easily. It's insulting and emasculating on so many levels. Essentially, you get a free kick. And Dicker slid it through, giving LA 3 points before the half. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention why they got that chance in the first place. Sean Payton wasted a massive and clutch interception from rookie Chris Abrams, who drained the Chargers' chances of scoring right before halftime. Al Michaels said,
And that's a killer for the Chargers right now.
I thought so too, Al. I thought so too. Instead, with 41 seconds left, and LA not using their timeouts, on 2nd and 13, Denver throws the ball, stopping the clock. And you can see Harbaugh's wheels start to turn. So when Denver ran on 3rd down, getting no yards, that bastard called the timeout, just like a worm would do, forcing Denver to punt deep from their own territory. And lo and behold, that genius worm lover's timeout led to the rarest way you'll ever see any points scored ever. Here's something nobody has ever said. The Chargers were catching all the lucky breaks. The Broncos defense disappeared. And while Chris Abrams' drain has stepped up after Levi Wallace was torched by the Browns, we had another player shart the sheets. Linebacker Justin Stranad, who's played pretty well all year, simply played the worst game of his career. Every blown coverage of his felt like a kick to my Stranads. And per Ryan McFadden, who is purring next-gen stats, Stranad gave up 103 receiving yards as the nearest defender, which is why the Broncos were getting torched by the likes of Josh Palmer, Stone Smart, and a little bit of Lada McConkey too. He got us too. Here's what's fucked up though. McConkey never found the end zone. It was Hassan Haskins, Darius Davis and Gus the Bust Edwards, who scored 2 touchdowns. Darius Davis now has 2 career TDs. That was Hassan Haskins' first career receiving touchdown. Gus Edwards' 43-yard run was his longest run since 2019, which means I've had COVID 3 times since Gus last ran this far in a game. Joe Rogan was a raging liberal the last fucking time Gus Edwards torched a defense like this. Broncos fans were convinced Drew Lock was the future the last damn time Gus did this. Please, please, please don't let Bo Nix be the next Drew Lock. Please, God. If you're there and you believe, spare us. Spare us, God. Look, the Chargers played a great second half. I'm not trying to take away from what they did, all right? Maybe a little bit. What lucky breaks did they catch? Well, on their game-winning touchdown drive, Quentin Johnston dropped 1 pass twice. They still scored. After they scored, Josh Palmer turned into a combination of Randy Moss and Jerry Rice. And Larry Fitzgerald, Lance Allworth, Jamar Chase, and fuck it, Marvin Harrison, as he caught this tip pass and kept his feet in for the 2-point play. The true sin, though, was Justin Stranad extending his elbow into Justin Herbert when Herbert was sliding on 3rd down. This was the worst thing I've seen a Justin do since Timberlake got his DUI. And unlike Justin Timberlake's viral concert bulge this week, this was the exact moment my bulge disappeared and recoiled into my body like a scared turtle. Now, do I like that this kind of mild contact is a penalty? No, of course not. I'm not a wiener. But Stranad knows the rule. You gain nothing from touching him, and you can see him clearly extend his elbow to make contact. Instead of LA settling for a field goal, they scored a touchdown. Was the officiating lopsided in this game? Yes, and I knew it would be. The NFL needs the Broncos-Bengals game to be interesting on Saturday. LA finished the game with just 2 penalties for 8 yards. But here's where I'm forced to promote my coffee. Fuck the refs, available at Benchwarmer shop, along with some shirts. We got them, because fuck the refs for this non-pass interference call for Marvin Mims. Firstly, Bo Nix does need to make a better throw when Mims gets this open. Bo is just inconsistent on deep passes. That said, referees, 9 out of 10 times this is called pass interference, and you know it. Per Webster's dictionary, this is the definition of PI. The defender never turns around and he hits Mims before the ball fucking gets there. Now I can forgive you for not flagging Justin Herbert for illegal hands to the face while he was simultaneously getting horse-collared by Jonathan Cooper. Sure, Herbert's hands were halfway into Cooper's mouth, but maybe Cooper's just into that. This not being pass interference, though, is like a cop not ticketing someone who ran a red light and caused an accident because the NFL wants the Bengals game to mean something. The rest of the Broncos' mistakes, well, they were all on them. There's no getting around it. The Chargers' lead-taking drive was aided by 3 Broncos penalties, 2 were offsides, and of course the horse collar. After scoring 3 first-half touchdowns, Denver went punt, punt, field goal, punt, 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 field goal, failed onside kick. And remember the fair catch thing? Yeah, the thing that hasn't happened since before Jimmy Carter was president? Those 3 points forced Denver to kick a field goal and play for an onside kick since they needed 2 scores to tie the game. The rarest play in NFL history fucked over my team. You know when the commercial says 9 out of 10 dentists recommend this toothpaste? Well, the Broncos are the one dentist who chose the other toothpaste, which was not FDA approved and rotted out all of our teeth. And God did indeed give us his nuts while we have no teeth. The other worst part, Bo Nix dinked and dunked it all night, feeding back into the narrative that he's a check-down merchant. He's not, we know that, but he whiffed on his one deep pass while Herbert made one of the most impressive touchdown throws of the month, maybe the year. All my bragging rights have been stripped away from me. I have nothing! And if I have to read the words blow dicks one more time, I might walk outside and stare up at the sun until it turns into a drone or whatever Aaron Rodgers sees on ayahuasca. The internet's saying the Broncos did the chargering, and we did. Jim Harbaugh was using smelling salts at the end of the game when it was in the bag. What kind of psychopath does that shit? I hate that Sean Payton opted for a short week on the road in a playoff race. I honestly believe that is ego and hubris blowing up in his face. A craving of the spotlight versus putting your team in the best position to succeed. And after the Bengals and Broncos got moved from Sunday to Saturday, you can't even use the excuse of extra rest as a positive because you lost a day on that too. Denver had their best first half of rushing all season. And the words "run the ball" on his play sheet. Wait, oh no. Sean, you wrote it on the wrong side. I fixed it. Just flip the thing around, Sean, and you'll be good next week, right? Right? Sean dialed up 40 passing attempts. Closed out the game with 7 total rushing attempts in the second half. The Broncos were previously at 91% to make the playoffs. That's no longer the case. They're still in the 80s, which is good. And depending on what happens, they will still need to beat either the Bengals or the Chiefs, which is far from a given. Their easiest path would have been to just win this game and not screw up an 11-point lead on national television. But that would have been a little too easy, wouldn't it? Please subscribe here on YouTube. Oh, man. Oh, come on. Tell me it's going to be okay. 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 Come on, please. Tell me it's going to be okay.